Right. That's the other thing Gina says. You're always shooting something on that podcast.
Right. Right. Guns solve problems.
Guns solve. Oh, what happened to in the Philippines where they said if you have a gun, shoot a drug dealer?
Oh, I just put that on my Facebook page.
That's a story. Hey, you want to buy some weed?
Well, what would the bitter Asian man think? That's going on in his home.
Who cares?
Yeah. Fuck the bitter Asian man.
Right. The Brand X podcast is sponsored by Audio Editing Solutions. Editing your podcast, just not your thing? Go to audioeditingsolutions.com and see how affordable professional audio editing can be. Welcome to another episode of the Brand X podcast. I'm John.
And I'm Deuce.
And we're happy to have you back here for episode 6. Boy, they're going by. They're snapping across. We're doing
Racking them up. Rack them up. Rack them up.
So, a bit salty today.
Ah, really?
Well,
you have a good weekend?
Yeah, the weekend was okay. Jean is here. My sister's here. So,
tell her I said hi.
I will do so. And she's here. It's nice to have her here. But, you know, she likes to tell me about myself. Because I don't know if you know this, Deuce, but I'm fat.
No.
Yeah, I am. And she likes to tell me that I'm fat. So, I mean, that's okay. I can understand, you know.
Oh, wait. Yeah, but you've
been fat a long time.
No. You've taken quite a bit off.
Well, it's off, on again. You know, it's like a relationship with a crazy broad. It's on again, off again. You know, that's how it goes. Right. So anyhow, I have that going on. And then I have the Jimmy, which I'm really excited that the Jimmy is into podcasting and all. But like now he doesn't really know how to work the podcasting app. He never knows which is the newest one. So he listened to our podcast, episode 2, where we talked about the people on Mother's Day, the security guards in front of the in front of the supermarket. So then I get this today. You're an idiot. The reason security guards, quotation marks, traffic control was at ShopRite was some jerk-off ran over a customer. And it's no news. I guess it's news because it says no new. No news. They have been doing it for a few years, a whole month at Thanksgiving through Christmas. The problem was the traffic control people are bigger idiots than you. That's the text I get. I go, they are fucking idiots. They had the whole parking lot gridlocked. Correct. They need to alternate between people and cars. 10 people, 10 cars. This is my twit. I don't know what that means. And I said, if you can't look both ways and not walk out into traffic, you should be run over. Then he informs me that there's 2 additional exits at the top of the lot I didn't even know about. I guess I knew they were there.
Right.
Anyhow, so that's what happens. He listens to a segment, and then he texts me. And Jimmy's a rules follower. He likes to follow the rules. And if you're not following the rules, he'll tell on you. You know what he did over there? I'm going to call up and tell on him. First thing in the morning.
Is it going to take to the Twitter like you did?
No, he doesn't tweet.
Okay.
He would have to call, or maybe he would fax. That was the other thing. He listened to us when we talked about the fax.
Right.
And he goes, what do you mean who fax? Everybody faxes. No, Jimmy. Everybody doesn't fax.
I think it's that, like, who 8 tracks? Everybody 8 tracks.
Everybody 8 tracks.
That's about where you're at with fax machines now. I just threw a fax machine away about 4 or 5 months ago.
Right.
Because it was buried under all Diane shit, and I was just like, I didn't even know I still had this. So I was like, no remote, right out.
There you go.
Boom.
Boom.
Yeah, I don't need this anymore. This is done. We can scan and email.
Exactly. And then you don't have it all lying around where you can't find it when you need it. You can have it in your computer somewhere where you can't find it when you need it. At least it's not laying all over the place.
Right.
Which is, like I said,
cluttering the space up.
I'll tell you one thing. It's 1 o'clock in the afternoon, and I'm almost ready for a beer. Maybe I should move to Belgium.
Oh, Belgium would be nice. I saw this story, and this was, like, to me, awesome. I hope I'm pronouncing this city now. Bruges, Belgium. And it says, the idea may have seemed mad, but after all, the beer is called the Madman of Bruges, or Bruges Zot in Dutch. With the help of crowdfunding efforts among some 400 Madmen fans, the dream of building a beer pipeline through the Belgian city of Bruges is becoming real. You have to be a bit crazy like the beer to do such a project. I just had the money for that and I liked it. So I went crazy and gave the money to the brewery, said restaurant owner Philippe Leloup, who poured $11,000 into the pipeline. The brewer got the idea 4 years ago to pump beer from the brewery to a bottling plant outside of the town in a pipeline instead of having hundreds of trucks blighting the cobblestone streets of the UNESCO-protected medieval city. UNESCO is the United Nations Education, Scientific, Cultural Organization.
See, I didn't know. I was going to say, what the heck is that?
Right.
I thought it was a candy bar.
Now, it does sound like a candy bar.
Doesn't it?
What at first seemed like an outrageous dream began to seem possible when Venest started talking to local beer enthusiasts. Jokes were coming in fast, with people saying, we are willing to invest as long as we can have a tapping point on the pipeline. That gave us the idea to crowdfund the project. It didn't go quite that far, and I'm not going to read this whole article, but basically all the people have been funding this. And instead of getting a tap in their home, which would be really awesome,
right,
what they get is an IOU, which gives them a license to a free pint of beer a day for the rest of their lives. Okay. How awesome is that?
No, that's pretty good. But see, again, I got to go with they make the brewery, then they put the bottling plant 2 miles away. You know, it's almost like taking the amount. I mean, I understand the beer pipeline, 4,000 liters of beer an hour to the bottling plant. I mean, that's crazy. I mean, I understand it's going to cut down on the loss, but I mean, I think wouldn't it be cheaper to build the bottling plant closer? I don't know. I guess not.
I think that's what the whole point of UNESCO is because there is a paragraph in here. The city also stood to gain the sometimes overly touristy city a sense of real life. Venesta could have done what so many others have and moved out of the city with its canals, gabled Gothic houses, horse-drawn carriage, and restaurants with menus in 6 languages. So basically, they were trying to keep the historical aspect of the brewery. I don't know how old the brewery is. I'm sure that had a lot to do with it. But they also didn't want to expand on the footprint of the city because it would have probably impacted on other historical. Because what we always forget here in America to an extent is we're a relatively young country.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, Boston is the oldest, actually Florida with St. Augustine, but Boston is, as far as the English settlement, that's the oldest one, I would think.
Probably like, 250 years old now?
A little bit older than that, 1600s.
Okay.
You know, which is you're only talking coming up on 500 years. Well, that's a drop in the bucket to Rome and Paris and London. And
so how big do you think this pipeline is going to be? And I know somebody's going to go over there and try to tap into this thing. They're going to have to have. They're probably going to have patrols going up and down, making sure there's no taps in it. Or
well, I would think they're probably just going to go underground and use the underground canals or the sewage or whatever. I guess is what they did because it's a pretty expensive project.
I would imagine 2 miles of pipeline.
Yeah, I mean 2 miles isn't that far, but when you're going underground, here it is. The total cost is $4.5 million investment for the pipeline, and it's 10% of it has been financed through crowdfunding.
That's pretty good.
So, yeah, I mean, it was the population got pretty behind this. It's something that I could get behind because I love my beer.
Oh, yes, you do.
You know, as I was reading this story, it mentioned the tap in the house. I was like, I'd never leave the house. Which maybe that was the whole idea. It's like, no, you can't do that. We'll limit you to a pint, though.
Right. So have the guys drunk and paying all over the place.
Right. You'd have a nation of alcoholics all along the pipeline. So, but, it's like no one's going to go to work today.
We're drinking.
I just thought it was actually pretty cool. And I guess this is like one of the few good things that the United Nations has done in the last few years, because their record lately hasn't been exactly stellar. So, to me, this was like, I had to pinch myself. I was like, I must be dreaming.
Well, it's a good thing they didn't put a tap in every house going down the pipeline or whatever you couldn't tap in, because then you'd have stories like our next story. Drunken man strips naked in supermarket and poos on self-service counter checkout.
Just when you can't get surprised anymore.
A man horrifies shoppers after allegedly walking into a supermarket and stripping naked before defecating on a self-service machine. Colin Murphy, 23, has alleged to have carried out the repulsive act at the local supermarket on Sunday, where witnesses claim he casually walked up and started to remove his clothes. When Murphy was near the self-service machine at the Kroger store in Cincinnati, maybe it was a guerrilla protest. I'm going to throw some poo for Harambe.
Is this guy from Florida originally?
No, I don't think so. You're not going to get me with that twice. Police claim he pulled down his underwear and defecated on the checkout. Witnesses told police that Murphy smelled strongly of alcohol.
You think?
He had also slurred speech, staggered as he walked towards staff and customers, allegedly. And police were contacted, and Murphy was later arrested on charge of disorderly conduct and public indecency. So then I'm thinking to myself, okay, maybe it's a protest. Like, I know, have you ever tried to use those self-service machines?
I try not to because I have a lot of issues with unemployment.
Oh, okay. I see.
That's why I don't use them, because to me that's just putting someone out of a job.
They don't fucking work. That's why I don't use them. So you go over there, you scan the thing, and then you go to put it in the bag. It says, put it in the bag. So you scan it, you put it in the bag, and then it goes, put it in the bag. And I go, it is in the bag. Put it in the bag. Listen, it's in the bag. Then I take it out. I put it back in the bag again. Put it in the bag. Then I got to call somebody. So maybe this guy had like a bad day or something, and he was like, he was there. He couldn't get his whatever he needed to get. Maybe he was trying to buy beer, and he couldn't get it through the self thing. So he just decided to come back, pull down his pants, and all over the checkout line.
Now, this happened in a Kroger store?
A Kroger in Cincinnati.
Yeah, they're a pretty big chain, so they're...
Clean up at Register 5.
Yeah, I was going to say, we need a mop. We
need a mop. Well, what happened was the police walked up to him and he said, hey, buddy, don't come here. There's no paper in this one either.
That's what he was looking for, huh?
Right. He's looking for the toilet paper.
Hey, but like, what goes they count? And he looks like a real winner.
Well, they all do. I mean, whenever you get, I don't know. Should I put his?
He's got like a bad porn star from the 1970s mustache.
Yeah, he's got a bad. Yeah, he's got the bad mustache, the hair. Yeah, he's got droopy eyes, bushy eyebrows.
Yeah, he's got the unibrow almost.
I don't think he ever come back from that story.
No, I mean, that's what's funny. If this guy ever looks for a job, and because now potential employers do a background search on you and do a credit check and all that stuff, and now this is going to follow you around forever. I'm sorry, we can't hire you, Mr. Murphy, because apparently you just like to shit in public. So
okay, so let's see. Everything looks good. You high school, okay. Some college, good. Looks like you've worked in this industry before. Okay. We go back and we do a Google search on you, Colin Murphy. Are you the Colin Murphy that went to the Kroger's and shit on the self-service machine? Yeah. All right, sir. Well, thank you very much for coming in. We'll get back to you.
Yeah, I mean, boy, it's like, how'd you like to have that on your rap sheet for the rest of your life? Well, to
be quite honest with you, if I was the guy giving Mr. Colin Murphy the interview, then I would have to have him tell me the whole story. Well, Mr. Murphy, I mean, that's not that big of a deal. How did this happen? Well, I was out the night before, and we were drinking Boilermakers, and you know how you just can't drink one. Oh, of course not, Mr. Murphy. And then I woke up, and I thought there was a bathroom in there, and I guess I was still drunk. Yeah, you must have been. And I walked in, and I thought that was the bathroom. Okay.
It winds up becoming like that scene in Stripes where they got out of the mud wrestling contest, and John Candy is standing there all covered in mud. And he says, well, sir, we were on our way down to the bingo parlor, and, one thing led to another. He goes, how can you even justify that? Like, you'd have to be out of your mind drunk or on drugs to do something like that. Like,
is there any kind of fine?
I would think so, if it's a public indecency charge.
Well, he had to appear in court. The bail was set at $2,000. So I wonder how much it costs you to shit in. Does he have to pay restitution?
Well, he only had to put up $200 to make bail.
Right. Well, yeah.
Generally 10%.
10%. Well, that's if you have good credit. You think this guy's got good credit?
Yeah, if I'm going to say he's got bad credits.
He's got some bad credits.
Yeah, he's like Marquise. So, yeah, they're giving the fine in pounds, 1,380 pounds. So,
Or euros. Is that pounds or euros?
I think.
What's the difference? Why can't we all have the same money?
Well, you don't want that for various reasons. So. That's why England's trying to leave they're calling it the Brexit, because the countries that have their shit together have to bail out the countries that don't have their shit together. And England was like, why should we have to do that?
Right.
Why
are you dragging us down?
Right. And that's what's happening.
Trying to shake that tick off.
Right. Exactly. So that might be euros. I think that's a symbol for pounds, though.
It could be a symbol for. I think euros is like an E, which would make sense.
Yeah.
Look how up on today's monetary symbols we are.
I don't know. It says that Colin Murphy was banned from entering the supermarket. You think? Yeah. Hey, here comes the mad shitter.
Sir, keep your pants on and stay away from the self-checkout line.
Keep it moving, Murphy. There's nothing to see here.
Do you think that once you're banned from the Kroger's, that if you go to the Piggly Wiggly, that they banned you also? Like, oh no, look, here he comes.
I don't know how you going to enforce that, because if this guy goes in for a makeover, loses the porn star mustache, gets the eyebrows waxed back, and cuts that Brillo top of a hairdo that he has,
you could just come on in, do. Is your name?
Yeah.
Hey, aren't you Colin Murphy? Oh no, sir. I'm Bill O'Malley.
Yeah, I mean,
okay, Mr. O'Malley, come on in.
Yeah, I mean, if you put Mr. Murphy in a suit and he cleaned him up, would they know? And then he takes the suit off and shits on the machine. Then that might be an indication. Say, okay, we think that might be Mr. Murphy again.
You are not Mr. O'Leary. You are Mr. Murphy.
I'm going to use my powers of supposition here, and that well-groomed, well-dressed gentleman over there taking a dump in aisle 3 is Mr. Murphy.
Well, you can get banned from things for not shitting in public. Did you know this? Did you hear this story?
I think I know where you're going with this one. And
this guy's like the Jimmy. This guy wants to make sure that all the rules are followed.
The guy from Starbucks? Okay.
The guy from Starbucks. Starbucks sparks outrage after banning a man for life. Dun, dun, dun. A St. Petersburg, Florida man has been banned from Starbucks for life because he told people illegally parked in the handicap space to move. Starbucks sent Rob Rowan a letter stating that he has been disrupting business and threatening customers and is not welcome back. I regret to inform you, you've been expelled from Starbucks, the letter states. Rowan expected a letter of apology because the Tampa location manager had kicked him out. Instead, he's banned from any and all Starbucks. Now,
how are they going to enforce that?
They can't enforce that.
A million Starbucks in the country?
Now, here's just two.
Are they going to have this guy's photo plastered over every cash register at every single Starbucks in the country?
Well, forget about that. Let's get down to the brass tacks. Why was he banned? Because he was out in the parking lot telling people that didn't have handicapped parking to not park in the handicapped parking spot. And if they did, he would call the police and have them ticketed. All right? So they banned him from the store. Now he has more time on his hands. Don't you think I'd be down there standing in front of that store? And everybody that pulled up there, I would continue to do it. And I would never go in another store. And I would sit there with my Dunkin' Donuts coffee, drinking it, sitting there right there, and everybody that pulled in there, I would call the police.
That's the best. You do it with a competitor's coffee.
Right?
Like, you, get out of here.
Or, better yet, I would go and get a little generator, and I would get a coffee pot and creamer, and if people would go, free coffee. Anybody wants a free coffee? Make it come and just start pouring. What's everybody doing over there? Here's some cream, some sugar. I don't make all. If you want all them frappy latte things, you got to go in there. But if you're just up for a regular common cup of Joe, free coffee. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's the thing that I question about this. The overarching theme I see here is, why did they even bother putting these handicapped parking places in this shopping center if they're just going to let anybody park in there if they're not handicapped or not?
Well, there's two reasons. One, there's a zoning law. Zoning law says you have to have so many handicapped parking spaces per parking lot.
Right.
And then enforcement. If they catch you, it's a hefty fine.
Right.
Now what happens is he is now calling the police and he's saying, hey, there's parking. So by the time the police get there, they can either give him a ticket, and I'm sure there's probably a few tickets given out, and then the people go into the Starbucks and then complain to the manager. And then the manager, instead of saying, hey, you know what, don't park in the handicap spot.
Right.
They go after the guy who's kind of enforcing this. Now,
he says that my son-in-law has muscular dystrophy and is in a power wheelchair, Rowan said. I've seen so many times the issue of him trying to find a parking space. So this guy is taking it from the point of view, it hits home for him. It's in his family.
Right. I know. I get you. I understand that.
But, again, of course, this is in Florida, so I don't know. Because pretty much all the handicap parking spots that I see up here, people pretty much obey the law up here. I don't know what the fine is because now in New Jersey, it's a couple of $100.
It's $250 for the first offense.
And you got to do like 6 hours of community service.
Community service, yeah.
Right. So, because obviously the penalty wasn't stiff enough that people were just saying, yeah, all right, I'll pay the $40. It's worth it to me. Right. So they had to up the ante, so to speak. Maybe that's what the issue is in Florida, where people are like, as if you're not paying enough money for a frappe, Latticino, whatever this crap is that people drink in Starbucks is.
Soy, double calf, decaf.
Did I ever tell you my first experience with Starbucks?
No.
They were relatively new to, I'm going back about 15 years ago when they were starting to come east, I suppose. My car club, we do a car show in the center of Morristown. Mm-hmm. And we had to get there 6 o'clock in the morning. We're setting up cones and barricades, and then the cars start arriving and we're parking them. So about 10 o'clock, me and 2 other guys were walking down the street, and I'm like, oh, I need a cup of coffee. I'm going to fall over. And, they said, yeah, I could use a cup of coffee also. So lo and behold, there's a Starbucks right in the center of town. So we walk over there. We order 3 regular coffees. None of that crappy whatever's going on in there. And me, I'm going to be the big sport. And they say, oh, don't worry about it, guys. I got this one. Well, when they told me it was $11, I just about shit myself. I almost was like Colin Murphy. I was ready to go in there and take a shit on the cash register. I was like, what? And it's, well, it'd be $11. And then they had the audacity to have the tip jar there, which is another thing that frosts my nuts. But I was like, I couldn't believe it. I was like, $11 for this? So I had the coffee to my... So I handed the coffee to my 2 buddies, and I said, drink it slow, savor it, I couldn't believe it. And then you drink it, and to me, it tastes like old burnt coffee. It had,
it's horrible. Starbucks, in my opinion, Starbucks coffee it tastes like they burn a tire, ground it up, and poured hot water through it.
And to add insult to injury, now we've got these incredibly overpriced $3 and change coffees. And this was about 15 years ago, mind you.
Right.
We walk a little bit further down the town. We're not familiar with it. What's in the middle of the town? A Wawa.
Oh, the Wawa.
I could have bought everybody at the show a cup of coffee for $11 at the Wawa. I felt like a real jackass.
Well, you know who had to pay for all that, don't you?
Yeah, jackass.
I know, baby. I know.
That was the first and the last time I was ever at a Starbucks. I don't get it. I mean, hey, I'm the biggest capitalist going, and if you've got money burning a hole in your pocket, you just want to get a cup of coffee at Starbucks, you go right ahead. But for my money,
well, it's it's like the pretentiousness of Starbucks and the people that are behind the counter. They're not just like people. They're not just workers. They're baristas. Oh, yeah. You know what? I'm a barista at the Starbucks over at 34th and 7th. And to me, it's just like really so. But I guess in a way, to be able to make all that kind of stuff, I mean, you have to have some intelligence, you would think, to be able to make a half-calf soy latte, whatever they drink.
Well, I don't know.
Idea. I have no.
I had a teacher tell me one time, if you show a chimpanzee something enough times, they pick it up. So, and I would put a bartender or a waiter or a waitress up against whatever they're hawking at Starbucks any time of the day.
Right. So what happened was he started taking pictures of illegally parked vehicles. And he said he's going to show them to the police. And she says, I'm calling the police. You're harassing me. And Rowan said, go right ahead. So she called the police, and the police came, and they gave her a ticket. And then he said, well, that really made me feel good. Well, that lady complained to the manager, and then the manager banned Rowan for harassing the customers. She said to me, "You're harassing my customers." I guess the manager was a woman. Rowan told her, "I am one of your customers. I'm a regular customer. I'm trying to help you protect your other customers who might not be able to park anywhere else." Contacted Starbucks district manager, did not help the situation. Their response was go back to the manager, and the manager's bottom line was you're harassing people. Well,
Wow.
see? So now you know me, you know
That's a
Cynical
weak
John.
manager.
Exactly. So the Starbucks spokesman, now you imagine you got to go to work in the day, and this is what you have to deal with. You have to write something up. You have to justify this. So you have to justify this nonsense. A Starbucks spokesperson released the following statement. "We understand Mr. Rowan's concerns and have been speaking with him about this. Unfortunately, he became confrontational towards our customers, and we had to ask him to refrain from visiting the store. We expect all of our customers to treat each other and our partners, employees, respectfully. We have been speaking with the landlord to improve the parking situation." Are you kidding me?
I don't know if that's going to go anywhere because, like you said, there's going to be zoning laws.
Right, but the thing about it is, now, Cynical John would be there every waking moment that I could, harassing customers that parked in that spot.
Right.
They can't do nothing about it.
And to make it even better, just to bring like the whole shame aspect in it, you'd have to go out there with a bullhorn, and like, hey,
And
you and
videotape.
you and the Acura license plate TT4. It's just like really.
And then what you do is you videotape it, you put it up on YouTube. There you go.
Either you're going to have these parking spaces or you're not.
I think they're needed, to be quite honest with you.
Well, yeah, obviously they're needed. And
I don't think this guy was doing a bad thing. I just think Starbucks' reaction to it by banning him, not from that store, from all Starbucks everywhere.
yeah, I mean, how do you even do that?
Well, first of all, you can't enforce it.
Right.
Well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure I give the Jimmy the picture of this guy and make sure if he's ever at a Starbucks that this guy's not in there because Jimmy will drop a dime on him.
Enforce that law. Now I'm curious. 11,563 locations, and this guy's not allowed in one of them. And that's just in the United States. I mean, worldwide. Right. I mean, suppose this guy, he jets off to like England and he goes, "Sorry, mate, you're not allowed to get a coffee here."
Oh, you think we wouldn't know?
Yeah, you got the bitteration, man. Your name names.
Your name names.
You're not allowed in there at all. So,
oh my God.
But it's just like, you get banned from a Starbucks. Now, at least this guy is not going to have that on his rap sheet like Colin Murphy's going to have.
Right.
I applaud the guy. I think he was doing a great thing because, there's people out there that definitely need to have a need. And, the Starbucks is so short-sighted to the fact that if those handicapped spots are filled and they can't get in, well, they've lost business. They'll go to another location that they can get into.
Right. Well, you know what? Here it is. That's exactly it. Starbucks saying, listen, our target customer are pretentious assholes. And they're going to park in the handicapped spot. They feel it's their right since no one's in there, and they're only going to be in there for 5 minutes. And if we start enforcing this rule, we're going to have how many people do you know that's going to go in there every day and buy a $7 cup of coffee?
Right.
So they got to protect that.
And a lot of it is, like you said before, like these pretentious customers. That's probably how dare you warn me that I'm breaking the law?
You're harassing me, sir. You're harassing me parking illegally in a handicap zone. I'm calling the police.
Yeah, the other thing that I noticed, kind of like an offshoot on this story, I went to the shooting range on Saturday with friends of mine, and one of them is handicapped. She's in a wheelchair. So afterwards, we went to the Whitman Diner, and he's got a nice Hummer H2, but again, she's got a wheelchair. They got a lot of her equipment in there they have to take out. He needs a large vehicle to hold that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So he rolls right into the handicap parking space, has the placard, has the license plate. I never realized until he pointed it out to me how many people give you a dirty look, because apparently if you're handicapped, you're supposed to be driving around in a hunk of shit.
Really? Why do you have to say that?
He said for some reason, a lot of people, if you have a nice car,
Right.
They get angry if you've got handicap tags or plates on your car. Like, in other words, you're not allowed to have a nice car and be handicapped. And I'm telling you, I mean, I saw actual venom in the eyes of these people looking at him as he was pulling into the parking space. And I was like, wow, check these people. I says, yeah, you get used to that. I mean, he's been dealing with this for like 20 years. So I don't know. That to me, I never even gave it a thought. Like, oh, there's a car in a handicapped parking space and he's got tags. Sometimes they were nice cars. I never gave it a thought. But apparently that rubs a lot of people the wrong way. You're not allowed to have a nice car and be handicapped.
Well, because you're not supposed to have any money.
Yeah,
because everybody thinks that you're either on
the dole
or something like that, or they're paying for you, you know. And then the other thing that I also found out that you know, this guy tried to go to a Starbucks in South Carolina, and a woman had just left her job at the bank because she was so distraught over somebody trying to buy meth there that she went to this, and then she noticed that the man was there, and she tried to fax for help. Help! Mr. Rowan is over here. He's trying to buy a Starbucks coffee. I don't know what to do. Help!
Someone's going to get mad at you.
Hold on, Mr. Rowan. I have to see if I'm allowed to serve you. Help!
Now.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
When you look at this guy's picture, I mean, compared to Mr. Murphy and other people that we've seen, looks like a normal, totally sensible gentleman to me. I mean, he doesn't look like a raving lunatic or anything like that.
Graying gentleman in front of the Starbucks, big smile on his face.
Yeah. This is just one of those things that proves to me that we're on the apocalypse is well on its way. You know.
Well, this is what we're fighting. These are all first world problems.
Yeah, exactly. People are starving to death in like other countries. You know, they're fighting each other for a glass of water.
You want me to park all the way in the back so I can run in and get a coffee?
Yeah. God forbid.
There's a perfect good spot right. What's the chance of a gimp rolling up here to get a coffee?
Yeah,
he's going to use a drive-through.
Stranger things and more important things need to be addressed in this than banning a guy from 11,200 at some Starbucks nationwide.
I agree. You know what's more important than that? The Podern family.
This is true.
Hey guys, it's Joe here from Pre-Recorded Live. Ever notice that we're always using the hashtag Podern Family for all of our stuff that has hashtags? Podern Family is the community of podcasts that support each other and promote each other. And here's the cool part. Now you listeners can search for hashtag Podern Family and connect to hundreds of podcasts. There's so many, you are guaranteed to find something that you like. Or if you don't want to do the searching yourself, you can follow @Podern Family on Twitter and let them retweet the shows to you. So what are you waiting for? Go out and find some podcasts to listen to.
We're extending the Memorial Hub.
Say what?
Yeah. I just figured, well, he's going right into another PSA. It's like.
No, I was actually pulling up our next story.
Okay.
Somebody in Dallas has a really good sense of humor.
Oh, yeah. This was.
I think this is hysterical. First of all, I don't know how they did it. But again, you know, I always say that, you know, I'm not a rules follower. Like, you have to give me a good reason to follow a rule. And my thing is, like, if the rule doesn't make sense, I have a problem following the rule. But sometimes just the penalty for the rule is like, you know what? I don't need to go through this. I don't need to, you know, I don't want to spend any time in jail. I don't need a big fine. So what's going on is in Dallas, somebody is altering the electronic road signs, the portable ones where they say, you know, construction or, you know,
slow
ahead, or, well, someone got into this one and it says the gorilla deserved it.
It's obviously someone that knows how to work the equipment, because apparently on this location, this is an ongoing situation with these road signs. Someone keeps reprogramming them.
Well, yeah, because the other one says Trump is a
shape-shifting lizard.
Well, allegedly. Another one said, work is canceled. Go back home.
Yeah, go back home.
So I guess the guy in Dallas just figured that, you know, they should have shot the gorilla because, you know, if your kid's in there and you hear, And that's the end of that.
This just happened recently down where I work in Alloway.
Right.
Not with the gorilla, though. That would have been a scream. Let me see if I can find it. Well, anyway, someone did exactly the same thing, only they put a vulgar term on it.
Oh, really? What did they say?
Yeah.
I wonder what it was. Did you see it?
Here, I found the picture. And it says, hey, blank face, wrong way. So apparently they must be repaving this road in Alloway somewhere.
Right.
And they've got one of those.
Did they say, hey, dick face?
I don't know. It might be.
Oh, because they blurred it out?
It could be that. Yeah, you know what? You might be right because they're showing a D and the middle three are blotted out. So it says, hey, dick face, wrong way. So
maybe they were just trying to tell Jonathan that he was on the wrong road.
yeah, right. You know, his terrible radio show. His terrible Friday nights.
Back in the day. Okay. That's totally a non sequitur because nobody knows what we're talking about.
Yeah, Ivan the Terrible.
So yeah, he was a DJ and his name was Jonathan, and then we called him Dickface. So maybe they were
not
telling
on the air though.
Not on the air.
Not on the
Not to his face.
No.
We call him Dickface. So anyhow, maybe.
So yeah, this just happened similar. It just happened in Alabama. So basically, they were the write up in the story was evidently somebody knows how to get into the box, and I don't know how hard it is. I would assume it would be relatively.
Do you think they lock them?
Well, you would think they would lock them up because they show a power box with a hasp on it. So,
Right. So you would think they would lock them, and then
yeah,
and then somebody either got.
And I guess they just figured no one would ever. I would think they would probably have to leave them open because, you know, these guys show up. You know, road crews. They might be a different group of guys. Someone's going to lose that key eventually, and now you got to smash the padlock off. But
well, here's my thing. What would you like to put on as a road sign? Like, what would you put up there?
Wow, the possibilities.
We might have to open that up to the listeners. And I'll put that something up on Twitter. What road sign, if you could change the road sign from like keep
electronic road sign,
electronic one where it flashes, what would you put on there?
Oh boy, the possibilities
are endless. I mean, would you put up something about Hillary? Would you waste it on Bernie? Would you waste it on Trump? Like say, like the one guy put something up against Trump. So, or how about Obama? Oh my goodness! Imagine the possibilities.
Just I don't know if I would do anything political, and I know you don't believe that, but I would rather do something like fun.
Yeah, I would have to it would have to be a joke.
Like speed trap ahead.
Or
you know.
Or there's no paper in this one either.
Right. Keep it moving.
Keep it moving.
Murphy.
Right.
Yeah. Because you could tailor it to the area that you're in.
Yeah, so. Exactly. It could be something very local or something that, even that you could use a local person like the mayor of a city or a senator or something, whatever you wanted to do. But it would be hysterical to be able to. But see, here's the problem. If they catch this guy, it's a third-degree felony, and it's punishable by up to 10 years in prison. Wow. So if they want to make, guess
what? You
what?
Imagine you're sitting in prison just about to have an anal intruder come on your way.
Yeah, and you're like,
what are you in here for?
I had to do the joke, didn't I?
Yeah. I mean, you're going to do 10 years. You might as well just rob a bank.
That's what I'm thinking.
At least you'd have some street cred.
Well, you say that. Tragedy struck today in Philadelphia after the Phillies mascot, the beloved Philly fanatic, was shot and killed after a 4-year-old child climbed over several barriers before falling into its 2,500 square foot enclosure at Citizens Bank Park. The 38-year-old fanatic has been on the endangered species list as it was the only known member of his species still remaining. Once a thriving pack animal, plentiful among the Delaware River Basin, the gentle herbivore creature Phileas fanaticus has been decimated by poachers who prize the fanatic for its unique green-hued fur. The Major League Baseball club, the Philadelphia Phillies, adopted the young fanatic cub in 1978 after both of its parents had been fatally shot by illegal hunters. I'm sorry, it was both parents. And it had become a local fan favorite, socializing to hug small children and even dance in exchange for treats. But when Cody H. of Cherry Hill, New Jersey fell into the Fanatics area during the 7th inning of a recent home game, crowds grew terrified as the agitated Fanatic dragged the child around his domicile. We've never seen him act like this before, said distraught Randall, the Fanatics handler and caretaker since 2001. It didn't have to happen this way. Angry protesters surrounded the ballpark today, demanding justice for the noble beast they claimed that was unfairly killed.
Yeah, that is truly a loss because everyone loved the Fanatic.
Yeah, but the kid fell in and he picked the kid up, and the next thing you know.
Yeah. And the kid is safe.
The kid is safe. He's okay.
Cherry Hill. You come down from the suburbs, you go into the big bad city. I mean, things happen.
It does happen. And they wanted, then the parents, where are the parents? That's all I have to say. How can you let your kid climb over and jump into the Fanatics cage?
Well, and it also begs the question, where were these people at? I mean, it said the child climbed over several barricades. I mean, we've all been to Citizens Bank Park. I mean, there's row upon row upon row of seats and peanut vendors and, just you think someone would have grabbed this kid and
the Phillies aren't really doing so well, so there's not that many people in the seats anymore. So I guess this is what happens.
Yeah.
I blame Ruben Amaro Jr. For ruining the team and having the poor Philly Fanatics shot.
Now what are they going to do? I mean,
got to get a new mascot.
Yeah, but what? Where do you go from here?
I think there's one in Japan that looks a lot like him.
Does that mascot smell like a big bag of piss if he gets close to you and hugs you?
Oh man, I'll tell you. Have you ever been? I guess you have been near the Philly Fanatic. I mean, listen, the Philly Fanatic is one of the best, in my opinion, mascot.
Do you remember the mascot the 76ers used to have?
What?
Big Shot back in the day.
Yes. He was a purple something.
Yeah, big, well, he smelled like a big bag of piss also.
Yeah, because they what happens is they sweat in there because they're out there doing all kinds of stuff and they sweat and they can't get that out of that suit.
I think I read somewhere they lose something like anywhere from 10 to 14 pounds a day.
Right.
Just sweating that off, wearing that, running around, doing all those calisthenics. And I know Kathy would be upset if the Philly Fanatic was shot.
Yeah, that's true. She loves the Fanatic.
And she listens too.
I know she listens.
Yeah, she's a big listener. Hi, Kathy.
Oh my God, she'll call Karen and then my phone will ring. So what's this you're saying about Jonathan? Nothing?
Well, you can always edit.
I cannot. No, I'm not editing that out of there. Are you out of your mind?
Well, yes. And speaking of shooting things, this was a story that I had picked up, and actually you were really enthusiastic about this.
Well, it's a great idea.
It is a great story. I just put it on my Facebook page because, wow, this is awesome. And the headline is Philippine President-elect urges public to kill drug dealers. And Manila, Philippines, this is from the Associated Press, so it's not from The Onion.
Right.
The Philippine president-elect has encouraged the public to help him in his war against crime, urging citizens with guns to shoot and kill drug dealers who resist arrest and fight back in their neighborhoods. In a nationally televised speech late Saturday, Rodrigo Duterte, I guess is it's pronounced, told a huge crowd in the southern city of Davao that Filipinos who help him battle crime will be rewarded.
Yes.
Please feel free to call us, the police, or do it yourself if you have the gun. You have my support, Duterte said, warning of an extensive illegal drug trade that involves even the country's police. So apparently the police are involved in this.
So they can't even trust the police. So if you're walking down the street and someone says, hey, man, you want some weed? Yeah, hold on.
If a drug dealer resists arrest or refuses to be brought to a police station and threatens a citizen with a gun or a knife, you can kill him, Duterte said. Shoot him and I'll give you a medal. The 71-year-old, 71 years old? He doesn't look like he's that old from his picture. Good for him.
Yeah.
The 71-year-old Duterte won the May 9th presidential election on a bold promise to end crime and corruption within 6 months of the start of his presidency. That vow resonated among crime-weary Filipinos, though police officials consider campaign rhetoric that was impossible to accomplish. Human rights watchdogs have expressed alarm that his anti-crime drive may lead to widespread rights violations. Duerto, a longtime Davao mayor, has been suspected of playing a role in many killings of suspected criminals in his city.
By motorcycle
riding assassins known as the Davao Death Squads. But human rights watchdogs say he has not been criminally charged because nobody has dared to testify against him in court. Gee, I wonder why not. In his speech on Saturday,
got one.
He asked 3 police generals based in the main national police camp in the capital to resign for involvement in crimes that he did not specify. He threatened to humiliate them in public if they did not quit, and said he would order a review of dismissed criminal cases of active policemen, suggesting some may have bribed their way back onto the force. So, well, as bad as you think things are here,
you can always go to the Philippines and work for American companies for $8 an hour.
So yeah, if you're still into drugs, I will kill you. Don't take this as a joke. This is a quote. I'm not trying to make you laugh, son of a bitch. I will really kill you. Duterte said to a lounge. So you know what? Maybe Donald Trump isn't so bad with rhetoric like this.
I don't know. I think this guy's onto something.
The foul-mouthed former government prosecutor said crimes were committed by law enforcers because of extreme greed and extreme need. He said that he would provide a small amount to an officer who is tempted because his wife has cancer or a mother died, but that those who would break the law because of extreme greed will also be dealt with by me. I'll have you killed. So
I like it. That's what I say. You get, if you go after the drug dealers like this, they don't know who's coming after them. They don't know who's the cops and who has a gun. I like this idea. You know, they're out there. They're trying to sell you weed. Pretty good. I like it.
I wonder what probably, I would think it's probably something a little bit more than weed. I'm guessing they might,
Hold on, I got to get a cone. Go ahead.
You know, they probably got a huge heroin wave going through there like we do here, I would imagine.
Right. I would imagine
cocaine, opiates, whatever it is. I had no idea that the situation was this dire. But this guy, that was a hell of a campaign promise.
That's right.
6 months, it'll all go away. Well, if you're going to go like this.
Hey, you know what? You take one out, you get free bullets. What'd you shoot him with? 38? Here's a box of bullets. Go get some more.
And you're going to get a medal. You know, I hope that helps if the drug lords figure out who you are, because how dumb is this going to be? There's going to be, a televised medal ceremony, and they give you a medal. How long is your family going to last?
You know what, El Presidente? Thank you very much, but I'll pass on the medal.
Yeah.
That's okay. I mean,
unless you're going to go up there in one of those ISIS masks where your identity is cloaked.
Oh, that's true. You could do that. Or, but then they tell you their name. It's in the paper. Oh, my God, it's in the paper. Now what do you do?
Yeah.
No, but I'm just saying, I mean, if this is true and this is actually going on, you could actually have, snipers, shooting these things like dump rats.
Right.
Got them.
It'll be interesting to see how the crime wave is reduced. This is a story we'll need to keep our eyes on.
I would love to see if this actually starts to work. Could you imagine if they actually gave this back to where you help the police in situations like this?
Well, not only that, conversely, let's say it's true that the police department is crooked and dirty.
Right.
How long before they kill the mayor?
Ooh.
I mean, they're there to protect him.
Yeah.
So, I mean, who's going to protect this guy?
Wow. Never thought of that.
Yeah. I mean, it's like, yeah.
Is he the mayor of the Philippines or is he the president? He's the president.
Well, he was the mayor. Right.
So he's the president-elect now. I guess they don't have the same Secret Service that we have.
Well, do they? I mean, if the police are crooked.
Yeah, I would imagine this guy, or forget about that. If they could just get to his car and they blow him up. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, you would figure the Secret Service or the military, I would hope not. But I mean, if the police are, and again, he's claiming that they're crooked. I don't know if they're crooked or not. I live here.
Right. He's going, he's going out one day and
yeah.
Bye-bye, Presidente.
Goodbye, Duerte, whatever your name is,
I say, let's see what happens. Let's try it there. See if it works. If it works there, maybe we can bring it here.
And of course, if you read all the comments on the story, they're always a scream.
Oh, really? I didn't see the comments.
Oh, yeah, there's a bunch of them on the bottom.
Let's read a few.
It's like, hey, Chicago, Detroit, Baltimore, you see this? It's time for the citizens to take their cities back. So
keep guessing, amigos. Stopping gang members from the South at the border and taking them over the bogus no-go signs is exactly what is needed. As soon as a gang bum pulls a weapon on a citizen or a law enforcement officer, the whole neighborhood should open up on them. I don't even have a sound effect for that many gunshots. In little shithole towns and big cities, this place has become an immoral sewer since the Fabians started moving on us in 1966 or so. You get rid of dope dealers and there will be no customers. Clearly you know nothing about junkie scum. They will go to hell and back for dope.
Here's one. This guy's responded to somebody that is against this, of course.
Right.
It says, you sound worried. Are you engaged in a criminal enterprise? And he never responded, so maybe he is.
Well, Will says, I can't bring myself to kill anyone who's not an immediate threat. It goes against my faith.
Yeah, well.
But I'll tell you what, if you're an immediate threat.
Yeah. God knows how, I don't even know how bad it must be over there. Because there's some countries that are bad. Yeah, they have a crime situation that's really horrible. But the Philippines is not one that jumps to my mind.
Right.
I know that Jakarta, Indonesia, they have some problems, and Brazil has problems. But this one kind of flew under my radar.
Yeah, I'm going to have to keep an eye on this, see how long this guy lasts since he's now the president.
Yeah, see how long before he gets assassinated.
Well, I mean, what happens is it's the same thing that's going on here with, in this country with Trump, where everybody's so fed up with the status quo that they're just like, hey, we'll take him. He can't be any worse than we got. I hope. Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah, well, yeah, but Trump's not advocating killing people.
Not yet.
Imagine that press conference.
He's not. Yeah, well, Trump's not elected. Imagine if he gets elected and he comes and says, "You know what? I'll tell you what. I like that Philippine guy. We should shoot all drug dealers."
And we got the guns to do it.
Right. Sprinkle a little crack on them. Yeah. Here you go. Kill your neighbor. You sprinkle a little crack on them. There you go. Everybody's a drug dealer.
Everybody's a. Yeah. Well, then that'll bring all the accusations where people will just murder other people and say, well, he was a drug dealer. Maybe that wasn't necessarily true.
He got weed.
Don't take a man woman with you.
Oh, my God.
Because a man woman would like nothing better than to see you get your ass kicked. I love that routine by Chris Rock.
That's right.
Is he going to kick my ass? Boy, talk about jumping the trail.
Same thing. If the cops got to chase you, they're bringing an ass whooping with you.
Everybody knows that the police got to come get you. They're bringing an ass kicking with them. Maybe you need to have your ass kicked.
Oh, that's too fun.
Yeah.
All right, we got to wrap it up. That is this episode of the Brand X Podcast. Thank you so much for listening. We would love to know what you think, so please contact us on social media and let us know your thoughts. We are on Facebook at facebook.com/BrandXPodcast and on the Twitter at brand_X_podcast. And if you're listening from your phone, just go to the show notes or actually the description. Just click, just kind of hit that thing with your finger there, and it'll open up, and the links are right there for you, easy peasy. And just come on back next week for another episode of Brand X.
Have a good one from Uncharacteristically Deuce.
A man horrified shoppers after allegedly. There
you go. Now, see, this is why Deuce turns his into airplane mode.
It's the computer. I have everything linked to the computer. Let's try.
Okay.
The Southdale Mabry Tampa. Oh my God! Philly fanatic was shot and killed after a 4-year-old child climbed over several barriers. Do
you want me to read this?
No, I swear to God. I fat-tongued it. Climbed over several. I know, you're laughing so hard. He can't even, he's got his mic shut off. No, I'm going to take it from the top. You can laugh. I'll just cut your track out. Tragically struck down today in Philadelphia after the Phillies...
tragically?
Tragically, is that what I said?
You said tragically, I think. Tragedy. Tragedy.
Oh, tragically. I see what you say. I can't read either. Oh, let me clear my eyes. Try this again. This will all be at the end. At a recent home game, crowds grew terrified as the uncharacteristically... Oh, my God.
Uncharacteristic.
I know what it says. I just can't get it the fuck out of my mouth. The uncharacteristic... Crowds grew terrified as the agitated fanatic dragged the child of... Cut that fucking word right out of there.
Self-edit.
That's right. Now you know why I'm such a good editor?